Welcome back. You're watching The World Today, coming to you live on Channels Television from Lagos. It's time to take you through stories making the rounds in Africa. And of course, we'll start here in Nigeria. Bama town in Borno State is now under the control of Boko Haram insurgents, and this is happening less than 24 hours after the military authorities claim they have repelled attack by the group. Bama is a border town with Cameroon and 78 kilometers east of Maiduguri, the state capital, and one of the commercial towns of the state bordering Gwoza, which has since been under the control of the insurgents. Residents, including women and children, were today seen in their numbers trooping to Maiduguri, the state capital, for safety, as the insurgents have remobilized and stormed the town in the early hours of the day. Eyewitnesses say after the initial military intervention in repelling the attack, the SEC members later regrouped and launched a successful attack on the town, which is presently under their control. Well, the source also told Channels Television there has been casualties on both sides during the last attack, which has forced residents to leave the town. Moving on now, as Liberia continues to try to contain the spread of the Ebola virus. Another patient has escaped from an Ebola quarantine center in the capital, Monrovia, causing panic among residents as they walk through a local market in search of food. Well, the patient escaped from Monrovia's Elwa Hospital, which last month was so crowded it had to turn away Ebola victims. More than 1,550 people in 4 West African countries have died.
The patient, who wore a tag showing he had tested positive for Ebola, held a stick and tried to get away from doctors in the center in the Paceville neighborhood as they arrived on the scene attempting to catch him. The patient escaped from Monrovia's Elwa Hospital, which last month was so crowded it had to turn away Ebola victims. More than 1,550 people in 4 West African countries have died from the virus since the outbreak was first recorded in March. Liberia has the highest infection rates with about 700 deaths out of 1,327 suspected and confirmed cases. Healthcare workers eventually forced the man into a waiting ambulance and took him back to the facility. One local man said he was the 5th patient to escape from the center. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, a U.S.-educated Nobel Prize winner, has sought to kill criticism of the government's response to the outbreak by issuing orders threatening officials with dismissal for failing to report for work or fleeing the country. On Saturday, August the 30th, government and health officials said they had plans to build 5 new Ebola treatment centers each with a capacity for 100 beds. The outbreak originally began in Guinea, but has spread to Sierra Leone, Liberia, Nigeria, and most recently, Senegal.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Barack Obama says his government is working along with his partners around the world to help stop the spread of the Ebola virus disease. But he believes also that the first step in containing the virus is to know more about it. According to Mr. Obama, stopping the disease wouldn't be easy, but in his own words, we know how to do it. He then encouraged countries battling Ebola that they are not alone. He says together we can treat those who are sick with respect and dignity. We can save lives, and our countries can work together to improve public health.
Hello. I want to take a few moments to speak directly to you, the people of West Africa, especially in Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and Nigeria. On behalf of the American people, I want you to know that our prayers are with those of you who have lost loved ones during this terrible outbreak of Ebola. Along with our partners around the world, the United States is working with your governments to help stop this disease. And the first step in this fight is knowing the facts. First, Ebola is not spread through the air like the flu. You cannot get it from casual contact like sitting next to someone on a bus. You cannot get it from another person until they show the symptoms of the disease, like fever. Second, the most common way you can get Ebola is by touching the body fluids of someone who's sick or has died from it, like their sweat, saliva, or blood, or through a contaminated item, like a needle. That's why the disease is continuing to spread where patients are being cared for at home or during burials when families and friends lay their loved ones to rest. That's why healthcare workers wear protection like gloves and masks. It's why if you feel sick with a high fever, you should get help right away. Because with prompt treatment in a medical center, nearly half of patients can recover. And it's why when burying someone who has died from this terrible disease, it's important to not directly touch their body. You can respect your traditions and honor your loved ones without risking the lives of the living. Stopping this disease won't be easy, but we know how to do it. You are not alone. Together we can treat those who are sick with respect and dignity. We can save lives, and our countries can work together to improve public health so this kind of outbreak doesn't happen again. In this urgent work, and in building a stronger and more prosperous Africa, you'll continue to have a partner in me and in the United States of America.
The President of the United States, Mr. Barack Obama. In other news, regional leaders have rejected calls by Lesotho's exiled Prime Minister Thomas Tabane for the immediate deployment of troops to help restore order in this country. Instead, an observer team will be urgently sent to Lesotho. Mr. Tabane fled to South Africa on Saturday, claiming the military had staged a coup. However, the military denies the charges. South Africa's President Jacob Zuma hosted emergency talks with Mr. Tabane and others on Monday. Well, to give us a clearer picture of the situation, Billy Intaote, a reporter with Lesotho Times, joins us now via telephone. Thanks a lot for joining us on the program. Billy, if you can hear me.
Hello, ma'am.
Good. What is the situation on ground? I can hear you. What is the situation on ground in Lesotho? We're hearing so much, but we want us to give you, want you to give us the latest on the situation.
The situation in Lesotho currently, well, if you're in the streets of Maseru, everybody is going up about their business as though all is normal. But what it recognizes is that there is no police presence in the streets of Maseru, not even traffic police, for instance, are not around. But since the August 30 raid by the army disappeared, and also they have been instructed that they should stay away from work for their fearing for their safety.
But what really led to this problem in the first place? Why did Prime Minister Tabane flee your country?
It has been some months now with the coalition government ruling Lesotho engaged in a conflict which has been about the alleged lack of consultation alleged by one of the partners in the coalition government against the Prime Minister when it comes to big decisions making in government. Since then, we have seen the three political parties engaged in different conflicts over issues like firing top political post holders in government.
Okay.
But the situation for us engaging SADC, Organ on Politics, Defense and Security Cooperation, to try to achieve it. But
Billy, let me come in here.
Escalated to the extent, yes.
If you say there is no military presence on the streets of Lesotho, what is really going on? I mean, who is running the country now? The military or the government?
No. Of course, the Prime Minister has claimed that there was a coup attempt on his life, but the military has said something else. They're saying that they were just disarming police officers. But right now, the most senior minister is the one running the government. That is Minister of Public Service, Dr. Motuela Fofa, is the one running the government in the absence of the three leaders. Although following the Pretoria meeting in Johannesburg, in Pretoria, we have learned that the Deputy Prime Minister will be returning home surely, while it is not clear whether the Prime Minister and another minister will be returning back.
All right then. So moving forward now.
I'll say the government currently, Lesotho is still run by civilian control, and the army is still in their barracks.
Good. So moving forward now. Moving forward now, how do you see this crisis get resolved? Because obviously there is heat bubbling under.
The situation as it is, I think the decision reached by the leaders in Pretoria, if they are implemented, there will be calm and there will be stability and peace if they follow the roadmap they have agreed to.
Thanks a lot, Billy Ntaute. I can hear you. Thank you so much for sharing your thought. Billy Ntaute is with the Lesotho Times. Thank you so much for joining us. And that's where we end the program today. Thanks a lot for being a part of it. I am Adeshewa Josh.